Welcome back to my channel, guys. Yes, today I'm going to be talking about a really popular fragrance, and this one almost needs no introduction, and it's none other than Bianco Latte by Giardini Di Toscana. So guys, if you want to find out all about this fragrance, please don't go anywhere. Welcome back, guys. Yes, I have a popular fragrance today, and it's Bianco Latte. I'm sure a lot of you know this fragrance because this one got a lot of hype last year, 2024. And yes, a lot of people like this fragrance for a lot of reasons. And some people don't like this fragrance for a lot of reasons as well. But in this video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on this fragrance. I'm going to be letting you know everything about this one. Yes, Bianco Latte here is a fragrance I discovered last year. And yes, with this one, the hype is real. I discovered this fragrance last year on TikTok and it was getting a lot of hype. And at the time, I wasn't about to spend 125 euros on this fragrance. So I reached out to the brand and they were nice enough to send me 3 of their fragrances. I have this one and I have 2 others from the brand I'm going to be speaking about in a separate video. So what kind of fragrance is this? Personally, I would call this fragrance a gourmand fragrance. So if you're familiar with gourmand fragrances, if you like gourmand fragrances, you would most likely like and appreciate this fragrance. But before we talk about this fragrance, let's quickly talk about the notes. So the notes listed with Bianco Latte here, we have caramel listed, there's honey listed with this one, there's some musk listed here, there's coumarin listed here, and of course there's vanilla listed in here as well. So yes, Bianco Latte is a really delicious fragrance. It's a really sweet fragrance. If you like sweet fragrances, then you should maybe check this one out and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. So I'm going to do a quick spray here to remind myself of what this one actually smells like. It's definitely a sweet fragrance with that vanilla in here. Definitely a sweet fragrance with honey. It's cozy. It's lovely. It's slightly musky. You know, just a great fragrance in my opinion. Easily likable. And I see why a lot of people like this one. This is an extremely sweet fragrance with major dose of vanilla in here. It has that very creamy lactonic vibe. You almost want to eat this fragrance. And like I said, it reminds me of a vanilla pastry. I'm not sure which one it is right now, but it also has that creamy lactonic vibe that's really beautiful. I mean, when the notes of a fragrance has honey, has caramel, has vanilla listed, you already know what the vibe would be like. So from wearing this fragrance and getting familiar with this composition, I can tell you that this fragrance is quite linear to me. I find this fragrance to be quite linear, as most gourmand fragrances. What you get in the beginning is pretty much what you get throughout the life of the fragrance. Doesn't change very much, at least in my personal experience. And like I said, I've seen a lot of mixed reviews with this one. A lot of people have good things to say about this one. And a lot of people also don't have great things to say about this one. So seeing all those mixed reviews just makes me think this is one of those fragrances that you either love it or you maybe hate the fragrance. And I'm sure you're wondering what I think. Personally, with my experience with this fragrance, I think it's a strong like and it's not a love. And that's based on my taste and preference and the kind of fragrances I enjoy. I'm not a big fan of sweet fragrances, and more so when it's really, really sweet, like the sweetness in here. I'm not really a big fan of those kind of fragrances. And Bianco Latte here falls into that category. And I also find this fragrance to have gotten a lot better, or maybe I'm starting to appreciate this one even more now than the first time I smelled this fragrance. Because the first time I tried this fragrance, I'm not sure if it's because of the hype or even because a lot of people had said too many good things about this one. I had maybe high expectations, and you know, now I'm starting to see this fragrance for what it is, and maybe that's why I'm starting to appreciate this one. Yes, it's definitely smoother now than it was in the beginning. It smells more refined to my nose than in the beginning, because in the beginning I picked up a little bit of a plasticky vibe in here that I don't smell anymore. And I'm not sure if it's me or it's the fragrance. So who is Bianco Latte here for? Bianco Latte here is for you if you like gourmand fragrances, if you like vanilla fragrances, if you're a big fan of sweet fragrances, lactonic fragrances, if you like those creamy, milky vanilla fragrances that smell like something you want to drink, then Bianco Latte here is for you. And yes, this is a compliment getter fragrance. This one will get you compliments easy. It's easily one of my most complimented fragrances in my collection. And this is one fragrance that a lot of ladies like on me. And I've been wearing a lot of this fragrance lately, especially because of the weather, as things have gotten a lot cooler where I live. And this one just shines in the cold. Definitely a winter fragrance, definitely a fall fragrance. It's something I would wear mostly in the cold weather. I personally would not wear this fragrance in the heat of summer. I think it'll be too much. I think it just wouldn't be a good fit. And that's my personal opinion. And yes, there's no rule to wearing fragrances. You can wear whatever fragrance, whatever time you want. But personally, I think this would not work really well in the heat of summer. The performance on this fragrance is 10 out of 10. This one is a long-lasting fragrance. This one will get you noticed, and this fragrance lasts a long time. Projection on this fragrance is 10 out of 10. The sillage with this fragrance is 10 out of 10. And the longevity on this fragrance is 10 out of 10. So I must warn you guys, a few sprays go a long way with this fragrance. And if you're an oversprayer like me, I would say maybe do 3 or 4 sprays to get really good performance out of this one. And that's because this fragrance can get pretty intense when you overspray. So yes, Bianco Latte here can be a unisex fragrance, even though personally I think this fragrance leans slightly to the feminine side. This is a fragrance I would personally appreciate more on a lady than on a guy. And with that being said, when I say this one leans more to the feminine side, I would say about 70% to the feminine side and 30% to the masculine side. Don't get me wrong, guys. Personally, I've worn this fragrance and I enjoy wearing it. I'm not just a huge fan of this style of fragrances. And if I were to rate Bianco Latte here among all vanilla fragrances I own, this one would not be in my top 5. Definitely would be in my top 10 or maybe top 15, but not in my top 5. And it's for no other reason other than the simple fact that these kind of fragrances are simply not suited to my style. So guys, those were my thoughts on this fragrance, Bianco Latte by Giardini Di Toscana. If you want to get this fragrance here in Canada or in the States, I have a link in the description below, and you're welcome to use my promo code PFC5 to get 5% off. It's also the best place to find designer fragrances, niche fragrances, indie fragrances, clone fragrances, and even tester bottles with the best prices in the whole of North America. So guys, feel free to check it out. I have a link in the description, like I said. So let me know what you think about Bianco Latte here. Have you tried this one? Do you like it? What do you think about this fragrance? Let me know all of that in the comments below. And I'm going to wrap things up here, and I'm going to see you in my next video, guys. Until then, please stay safe and bye-bye.